Hi, I'm Cynthia. I just turned 30 this year and I've been wanting to make some sort of reflection about growing up and my journey into adulthood. I've created illustrations and videos all my life, but I tend to start projects for fun and then abandon them when I no longer see their purpose. However, I stuck with this one. Once I started writing it, I became fixated on seeing it through. I hope my reflections on this topic can be of use to others out there, so let's get into it. Contrary to what a lonely childhood might look like, I grew up in a big extended family. I was pretty lucky because this meant my parents had a big support network. But one trade-off of having so many people in my life was this constant anxiety of having so many eyes in my life. I learned to be hyper-aware of others and their perceptions of me, maybe because any gossip or news about my cousins and peers traveled extremely fast through what I call the auntie network, which was even faster than getting the news firsthand. So naturally, any negative comments about me led to my parents feeling ashamed, and not knowing how to deal with their own feelings, they sometimes threatened to abandon me. Eventually, I found safety in being liked by my peers especially, who were basically the gossiping auntie network in my playing field. Starting in my teen years without really thinking about it, I had mastered the art of being a people pleaser and a social butterfly. I found myself in multiple friend groups, spent my free time out and about, and somehow successfully avoided conflict with my many, many friends. I remember my mom backhandedly saying to me once, "Wow, so many friends you care about, but I wonder if they all even care about you." Rude? Her mean comments always made my eyes roll anyway. But of course, we all become adults. In my early 20s, I began to see time, energy, and money as valuable resources. So what does that mean for friendship? Early on, I was never really selective about who I spent my time with and how, until I began to notice something new. Time with some people felt draining to me. I noticed that with some friends, time and time again, they didn't seem to remember anything significant about me, they didn't care about what I cared about, or we were all more focused on looking like we're having fun than actually having fun. I remember occasions where I drove for hours just to hang out with them, but the event felt underwhelming and even annoying. How did I get here? I blame myself. The people in my life were just being themselves, while I was just a chameleon. If they wanted to gossip about others, I listened and participated. If they felt nosy about my life, I shared, even though I knew they gossiped. If they wanted to do something aesthetic just for Instagram that costed way too much money, I tagged along. If they had drama with another friend, I would stay quiet and let them figure it out. I thought I was a rational and even kind person for constantly adapting to others and being the chill friend. Well, I was getting old enough to realize the sobering truth. My chill friend persona was just a lifelong manifestation of my deep and selfish fear of loneliness. Even though I was constantly surrounded by people, no one really knew me. Even I didn't know me. All my life, I just molded myself to be accepted by whoever was in front of me. After this harsh realization at around age 25, I finally decided to embrace my loneliness and prioritize befriending myself. I stopped using social media as much and stopped saying yes to every invitation. When I was with others, I started sharing my opinions. I started making more art, leaning into my hobbies, and inviting people to do what I wanted. If they looked at me weird, that was okay. The friends who were down were great company. Plus, rejection was no longer a threat to me. I learned to be alone without feeling lonely. That summer, I also began devoting my efforts to volunteering for something I cared about. Those months flew by and I wasn't aware of all the new friendships I had made. Somehow it all felt so effortless and honest, and I never worried about impressing others or the potential of them abandoning me. In addition to that, being around them inspired me, a feeling I never associated with social settings. Some of them even thanked me for inspiring them and giving them hope. During that year, I met people who are now some of my closest friends, and for the first time, I don't feel scared to be myself. For the younger versions of me, the only goal was fitting in and not being lonely. Some could say I was never technically lonely because I was in friend groups. Personally, I think a loner is anyone whose fear of loneliness drives most of their actions. In my case, I was constantly molding myself to avoid abandonment. I wasn't a proper friend in these groups. I selfishly used their company as a means to avoid loneliness. So here are my 2 takeaways. 1. Loneliness is something we will all experience in our lives. The one person who can be there for you guaranteed is you. It's essential to be your own friend first. And 2, as long as there's something bigger than yourself that you deeply care about and you work hard toward it, the allies you were meant to befriend will meet you along the way. Thanks for watching my video. It's been a long while since I've made one. This video is entirely human-made with no help from AI whatsoever. That includes the script writing, drawing, voiceover, and even all the self-reflection. I'm not here to tell you that AI is evil, but I personally find myself wanting to know whether art was created with the use of AI or not. Again, thank you, and I hope to share more passion projects in the near future.